and I've been a retail restaurant and hospitality strategist for 12 years. And I typically work through SBDCs. And today I'm working through the Paris SBDC here in Texas. And I want you to know right up front, although I live in Virginia and travel the country, I'm a Texan. I was born in Dallas, Texas. So you can trust me because I'm telling you the truth, because I'm from the Lone Star State. Okay, so let's go. From BahHumbug to boom. 7+1 strategies mastering the holiday season. So here's the deal. I'm going to give you the seminar I've been giving for years about the fundamentals of being prepared for fourth quarter, because fourth quarter is incredibly important for every retailer, especially small, independently owned retailers in small towns, because fourth quarter is where you make most of you make all of your profit. So it's very important that you have a strategy and a plan to maximize those months. And in the middle of it, we have a pandemic. Whether we're in the middle of it, or pro-pandemic, or pan-pandemic, or pro-mask, con-mask, whatever we feel, we're still in the middle of it. So I'm going to add an element to this webinar that says these are the 7 fundamental strategies of having a good fourth quarter. And oh, by the way, we're in a pandemic, so you have to pay attention to these items as well. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. I'm Marc Willson. I can get dressed up, but I'm a regular guy. I just happen to be in the retail restaurant business my whole life, and I'm giving back, and that's my purpose right now. So where are we? Where are we? These are continuing to be uncertain and unsettling times. And there's new ways of experiencing the holiday season, gift giving and receiving, and community and events. Listen, whether you're a big chain retailer, or you're a big box, or you're independently owned, walk-in traffic is down 25%. And a year ago was down 50%. So walk-in traffic is down because people, whether they're pro, pandemic, or pro-vaccine, or against the vaccines, or whatever, people are still concerned about their well-being, and people don't want to catch the virus. So here's the overriding message from me is to side with the side of safety. So I'm recommending, whether you are in Texas or Virginia or California or anywhere else, that to do business, the wisest thing to do is to side with the side of safety. Let your customer make the decision on what they want to do. But in the meantime, provide them an environment to shop safely. So, fair enough. That's about it. That's what I want to say. So let's see here. Why is it my slide? Here we go. So it's not about changing everything, because the major building blocks of having a good holiday season don't change. But you have to admit that there are changes due to the pandemic. And we're going to talk about those as we go through these building blocks. So first strategy, first building block, number 1, create a strategy. You've got to go into this knowing that it's the most important time of the year for your business. So you have to control the process. You have to know things. You have to plan ahead for what's about to happen. And let's talk about some things. Know your lead times. The supply chain is fragile. The supply chain is broken. Some of your most trusted vendors and manufacturers have had problems based on raw supplies. My wife is in the furniture business. It used to be 6 to 8 weeks to get a sofa. It's now 6 to 8 months because the raw product, the foam, the steel, the wood is all in short supply. So that's just an example. But so many manufacturers and so many vendors are grappling with, very, very fragile supply chains. So know that. So my advice is not to put all eggs in one basket. You ought to be trying to find backup suppliers in case your main suppliers runs into trouble. So here's a new development. You have to manage your online inventory as well as your in-store inventory. So let's talk about this real quick. I'm not suggesting that independently owned businesses will all of a sudden become 50 or 70% online. I just don't think that'll happen. I think in rural towns, in small towns, in independently owned businesses, I think most of your business will still be done out of your four walls. And to a slight degree, to a bigger degree than in the past, you'll be doing online business. So you do need an e-commerce website. You do need to be omni-channel. You have to be able to execute to the several ways that a customer may get their product today. And we'll talk about that in a second. So as a result, you have to manage both inventories, what you need to supply your online demands as well as your in-store demands. You really should forecast your turns. Turns are how many times you'll turn your inventory during this time period. So if you know that or have history, which is the best indicator, you ought to plan for that in advance. It's hard to get product in November and December. So you have to plan that out early. You should be planning that now. You should eliminate categories without gross margin. You can do all the revenue in the world, but if you don't have gross margin and don't have profit, you're not going to make any money. Review open orders. Use special orders. Keep your shelves stocked. You have to be ready for a robust holiday season, whether it arrives or not. And everybody's predicting that the holidays will be at least as strong as they were last year, and probably more strong than they were a year ago, because people are spending money. People are, they're still optimistic. We're all optimistic. We're all still moving in the right direction. So be aware of that. So combine your inventories, make sure you can control both inventories. It's different now because of online sales, but again, I don't think that online sales will go above 10 or 15% in an independently owned store in a rural town. So let's talk about fourth quarter. So you have October, November, December, and January. And you need to think about that in advance. You need to think about coordinating your marketing and promotion efforts. Of course, in December, you have all sorts of different celebrations happening in different cultures. So you have the first day of winter, you have Hanukkah, you have Christmas, you have Kwanzaa, you have New Year's Eve, you have all these different celebrations. And depending on your ethnicity, your celebrations differ and come at different dates. And a good retailer celebrates all those dates and has product for all those ethnicities. So know that. And then in January, we have New Year's resolutions, Martin Luther King holiday, and all the things that people promise themselves that will happen in January. So you have the diets and the self-care and the exercise, and you have all those things happening in January. So you have to be aware that the fourth quarter involves more than just December. You with me so far? Okay, let's talk about plus one. Let's talk about the need for an e-commerce strategy during fourth quarter and the power of the pivot. You have to adapt the way of you doing business. You have to meet the customer's needs where they are, and you have to creatively overcome challenges. So let's talk about that for a second. The customer has, if you've heard me speak before, you've heard these, but I'm going to repeat them because they're so important. The 4 C's of the consumer. The consumer cares about 4 things right now. Number 1, convenience. Convenience is the number 1 driver of the consumer today. So the consumer knows that they can get the product from a savvy retailer any way they prefer. And you do know there's 4 ways that a customer prefers to get their product today. They either want to come in your store and shop like they used to. So that's number 1. Shop online and pick it up in your store. So they're shopping on your website, but they want to pick it up in your store. They shop online, but they want to pick it up curbside. So they want the store to bring it out to their car or to them on curbside. They want it delivered locally. So they live in a 1 or 5 mile radius of your store. And the consumer feels that the best way to get a product to them is to deliver it to them directly from your store. And they feel that's the safest way. And then lastly, they want it shipped to them. They want to use a primary carrier, USPS, UPS, FedEx, DHL, and of course UPS. So they may want it delivered. So those are the 5 ways. So number 1, that's consumers looking for convenience. Number 2, the consumer's looking for caution. They're looking for a safe way to get their product. And the consumer still cares about that. So they may want to shop with you live, or they may want to stay remote, stay in their home, and get things brought to them or delivered to them. So you have caution. You then have cause. People care about what you believe in bigger than a transactional process. So customers want to know that you know about recycling, you know about sustainability, you know about diversity, you know about manufacturing fairly and treating their employees fairly. So, and they want to know that you're part of the community, because the 4th C is community. So they want to know that you're aware of charitable causes and you're aware of the needs of the community, and that you're participating and giving back to that community. So the 4 C's are convenience, caution, cause, and community. Okay? So that's about the e-commerce and power of the pivot. Skill building, e-commerce trends, marketing and helpful tools, and website revitalization. You've got to make sure your website is better than it's ever been. Because regardless of whether you're rural, in a small town, there are more people that are going to shop on the internet and use your website than ever before. And it's going to happen again this Christmas because it happened in 2020. So
Mark, our screen has not changed. It's still showing on the number 1 e-commerce strategy.
What?
our screen is still showing #1 e-commerce strategy. Is
Yeah,
yours-
I'm still talking about it.
Okay, whenever you said tip number 2, I thought maybe you were advancing a screen. And it
Yeah,
didn't.
I'm still talking. I can go to the next slide.
Forgive me for,
That's okay. I was still talking about it. That I've probably covered enough, and I got so much to cover that I probably should move on.
oh,
So
no,
the-
no problem at all. Sometimes I've had my screen freeze and it not show, and I wanted to make sure that it was moving for you. Thank
No,
you.
the slides are just for me to kind of stay on track timing wise, but I know the information so well that I just talk, and you know that. So let's talk about a shipping strategy. This is the #2 issue as it relates to being in the middle of fourth quarter, but also being in the middle of a pandemic. I want you just to be cognizant of what's involved in being ready to ship over the holidays. So it's important that you have a strategy for your shipping. So pick a carrier, I'm sure you already have. But when you pick that carrier, reach out to them for all the free products that they can send you for your shipping needs: boxes, bubble paper, wrapping, labels, all the things that you need for shipping. And then you need to have a strategy for branding during a high shipping period. And what I mean by that is there are companies that allow you to purchase tape and labels for the outside of the boxes. So I'm recommending that you get free shipping supplies, but that you label them with your logo and your label so that you're branding your company as you ship. So you don't think you get a box from Amazon without the tape with Amazon's logo. So I want you to do the same thing. I want your logo on your tape, and I want your logo on the box. But I'm recommending that you get the free supplies from your major carriers. Sticker Mule is a site where you can get that tape and those labels. So write that down, Sticker Mule. And then the other thing you got to figure out is who's going to pay for the shipping. Someone pays for it. It's either you or the customer. And what I've found from interviewing thousands of retailers over the number of years is that it's best that you at least share the shipping cost with the customer. So you've got free shipping where you absorb the entire cost. You have shipping where the customer pays, but I like to tell you that I don't think that's competitive. And then you have where you share the shipping costs with your customer, which I think is the best way to go. And how you do that is you set a limit for free shipping. So you say to the customer, if you spend $50, first of all, you look at your average ticket. So look at your point of sale system and figure out what your average ticket is. And let's say your average ticket is $50. Your average sale is $50. So if you're going to give away free shipping, you don't want to give it away for $50. You want to give it away for $75 or $100. So you give the customer a goal. Spend $75, spend $100 and get free shipping. That way, you're sharing the cost with the customer because you're improving your gross profit while giving the customer a benefit. So you need to think, you need to have a strategy about who's paying for shipping, how you're going to absorb that cost, and how you're still going to be as profitable as you need to be during fourth quarter. Number two is focus on customer service. Service and smiles are important, even behind a mask or online. What's my point here? My point is that although you may be doing more business online, the retailers that do the most business have what I call the secret sauce. And we're going to talk about it in a few minutes, but secret sauce is what a store does that's intangible, but makes the customer feel so special, feel like part of the family, feel like it's the only store they want to shop in, feel like part of the family. The secret sauce is what a store owner does that makes them successful when other people are struggling, because they become the choice and the preference of most customers. And the secret during fourth quarter is to be able to take that special feeling that you provide within your four walls and sprinkle it over your website, making your website friendly, making your website personal, making your website an attractive place for even your loyal customers to shop in. And what makes that happen? Personalization. And how do you personalize an online sale? You do these things, which are easy to do. You have a live chat. You allow the customer to chat with you while they're shopping online. And that's done through a plugin called Tidio. You Zoom conference your customer into your store, or Facebook Live them into your store. But you let them in via the internet, and you go live online. So you're actually producing a live sale, but you're on the internet. So that's personalization. It's incredibly important, and certainly use a e-commerce platform that allows you to do that. And I'm here to tell you that Shopify is the #1 e-commerce platform, and it has all these options available to you. So choose a platform like e-commerce or Shopify or Lightspeed or any of the big e-commerce platforms that allow you to be personalized when you're selling online. It's incredibly important. Staffing, adequate staffing, scheduling, service standards and expectations. Listen, the #1 issue during this fourth quarter, in my opinion, there's two major issues. One is staffing, and two is supply chain. Those are the two primary issues I've heard from clients this fourth quarter. Staffing is difficult. People are less enamored with the idea of working in a service industry. Service industries being retail and restaurants and hospitality. People, first of all, they've had the ability to make money on unemployment with the stipend, to make as much money as they made working for you on unemployment, which is problematic in my mind. But that's coming to an end soon. So you may have people at your doorstep again to work, but people have had a year and a half to decide whether they really want to wait on the general public and be exposed to the general public, which exposes them to the virus and the Delta virus and the pandemic and everything else. So people have had time to really consider whether they want to be in retail or restaurants at all. And as a result, with business opening back up quickly and then coming to a little bit of a stall with the Delta variant, but everyone's understaffed. Everybody is understaffed. I don't care where you go, you're going to find people in stores and restaurants and hospitality understaffed. And all I ask is you don't shop or dine with an attitude. Know the people that are working in stores and restaurants right now are working as hard as they can. And they're doing the best that they can. So don't treat them poorly and don't be rude to them. Just be kind and empathetic. That's all I ask for out of everyone today. Not only both sides, the general public and the shop owners and restaurant owners. Everybody needs to be kind and empathetic. With less staff, you need to cross-train everybody. They need to know how to do everything. And when hiring, you need to think about what people want. They may want a more flexible schedule. They may want a position that doesn't involve them waiting on people. It may be involved in packing and shipping your e-commerce sales. It may be involved with deliveries. It may be involved in things that don't involve, it may be your back room and the logistics of backstock and shipping and all those things. So keep in mind that you need to be creative right now in terms of what you can offer an employee. And the best thing to figure that out, why don't you talk to your current employees and find out what they're looking for and what they like about working for you. But just as importantly, what they don't like about working for you. And maybe it's scheduling. Maybe it's, having more time with their family and those kinds of things. So just be aware of that. It's an important time. So engaging the customer, open-ended questions, closed-ended questions. How are you? Have you shopped with us before? Is this the first time in our store? Let me tell you my favorite product. Who are you shopping for this year? Tell me a little bit about them. So you have two things going on. You have people that are cautious. So they may want, a little bit of space and they may be a little timid, but they're looking for socialization. It's in our DNA to be social. They're looking for conversations. I find myself looking to converse with people because I spend so much time talking to a computer or spending time in my office. I am a social person. I like to be around people, and so do many people. It's in our DNA. So be ready to be empathetic and kind and show people courtesy if they're cautious, but also be ready to talk to people because people are ready to talk. People are lonely. So know that and use that to your advantage. The appreciation cycle. Appreciate your staff. Appreciate your customers. Thank them for shopping with you. Remind them how it makes a real difference. Reward your employees that go above and beyond. Reward excellent service. Reward us. Listen, people will do more for you if they're simply recognized and you tell them how much you appreciate them. So it's a time to appreciate your customers, appreciate your employees, and encourage testimonials and feedback. So if you can get a customer who's highly satisfied with the experience they just had in your store, there's nothing wrong with asking them to put a positive testimonial, not only to your site, but to Facebook or TripAdvisor or Yelp, because people look at all those things now. Know this, the customer, whether they're rural, whether they're from a small town, they know how to get on the internet, they know how to research, and they know how to look at your website. 9 out of 10 people, I'll go as far as to say 10 out of 10 people now have seen your website before they come into your store. Number 3, personalized experience. I've already covered that. But, in the store, make sure you recognize customers, eye contact, smile, non-solicitory greeting. The worst thing you can say to a customer is, "Can I help you?" Because every customer will say, "No, thank you, I'm just looking." They may be there for something in particular. They may want help, but they won't ask for it, because that is the worst greeting you can ever give a customer. Acknowledge, even if you're busy, eliminate side conversations. Practice 6-foot distancing. It's just the safest thing to do. Don't be salespeople right now, be storytellers, be empathetic. Think about servicing your client rather than selling to them. And authenticity, encourage employees to show their personal passion for your store mission and products. Here's what I think in our store is really cool. This is why I work here. This is my favorite holiday gift. How cool is that? You want to be authentic. You want to be personal. You want to tell the customer, I work here because I love the product and I love the store. And share that enthusiasm with customers. It's contagious in a good way. Understand the shopping and preferences of your current customer. Why are they shopping with you? Are they shopping with you because it's safe and secure? Are they shopping with you because it's convenient? Are they shopping with you because of price? More importantly, why you? Uniqueness and your special sauce. And what's uniqueness mean anyway? That you're one of a kind. And I think every store should have a destination statement. And what's a destination statement? It is simply this: I am the only store. And then name your town, name your county, name your state, or name the country. But I want you to be able to complete in this sentence, and I think it ought to be something that's on your website. I am the only store in Waco, Texas. I am the only store in Paris, Texas. I am the only store in Sulphur Springs, Texas. That, and be able to finish that with a destination statement, a statement that only you do and that only you are so special at. And you might be a store that's special for the entire state of Texas. You might do something that you're the only store in the country that does it. But make sure the customer knows that. And I'll tell you the best way to communicate that. You need to have a 30-second video on your website that has your destination statement and what you've done to your store to make it safe and secure to shop in. It's easy to do. You simply upload a 30-second video on to YouTube and then embed it in your website. Now, I know that's a lot said. Just type into YouTube, how do I embed a website or a video on my website? And there's a dozen videos showing you exactly how to do it. But there's lots of reasons for having a good 30-second video on your website. So do that and let first of all, I want them to know your destination statement. And secondly, no surprises. If you're requiring a mask, 6-foot distancing, and only a certain number of people in your store at a time, they need to know that up front, and they need to know that from looking at your website. So I've talked about your special sauce. Special sauce is something bigger and more important than what you sell. It's your community. It's your mission, okay? Other small personal touches that differentiate you from an otherwise impersonal transaction, even online. You with me? I hope you're following me. Key considerations, another +1. You have 2 different customers. One's in person and one's online. And they may have different requirements. A person in person has lots of things that you need to consider that are different than a customer that's shopping with you online. But know this, there are customers finding you that might have not found you ever in the past, because more people, even baby boomers, even people my age, 68, have discovered how to shop online. They shopped online last Christmas. They're probably going to shop online again this Christmas. So know that, but know that you still have to be ready to wait on your customer that loves you and wants to shop with you in person, because that's still going on. And it began to build exponentially and got slowed down recently with Delta. And we don't know what's going to happen as we move on in months forward, but be prepared for both. Build customer relationships. You're not in the transactional product business. You're in the business of building relationships. A loyal customer, a customer that shopped with you once before, is 10 times more profitable than a customer that shops with you for the first time. Number 4, educate your community. Your community, your money. Know this. A customer that shops with an independently owned business in their county keeps the money in their county. So the important thing right here to talk about, and the consumer might not know this, but let me tell you this, the consumer does know the importance of shopping locally. And there is a movement in this country to shop with privately, independently owned stores. But the benefit to the county is that when you shop with a store that's owned in your county, 70% of what you spend with them stays in the county and gets spent over and over again. It's called the multiplier effect. For every $70 you spend with a big box store or a chain store that is headquartered in a state other than yours, the money goes there. So listen to me. $100 spent at Walmart, 70 goes to Bentonville, Arkansas. $100 spent in Best Buy, $100 goes, or 70 goes to Minneapolis. $100 spent in Home Depot, 70 goes to Atlanta. So know that when you shop with a big box store or a chain store that's headquartered outside your county, the money goes to wherever they're headquartered. So shopping locally is hugely important. Shop in your community and the money stays in your community. So educate the community to the value of downtown. Keep the dollars in your community. Know what it takes to run a business in downtown. Support businesses in service and realize that parking is accessible, especially with curbside service. Be omni-channel. Have the ability to execute to all 5 different ways a customer may want to receive their product. Co-opetition. Cooperate with the other colleagues you have in town. A town that works together is far more successful than a town that has a bunch of disparate, independently owned stores that are operating on their own agendas. Towns that work together and know each other's destination statements are more successful than towns that don't. So co-opetition means it's the fusion of cooperation and competition. And I know this, all boats rise with the tide. The more the town works together, the more successful the town is. So the people that know co-opetition and operate that way are called cooperators. And I'm looking for towns filled with cooperators. Co-op advertising is a way to share advertising costs, and promoting as a town-wide promotion is very effective. The entire town is having a sale. The entire town is 20% off. Goodness. So external marketing events, huge community events, parades. I know that small towns are event driven. So do events together. And if the town's not doing events, do events in your own store and let people know about them through your social media and your website. Create a buzz. Events drive traffic, and traffic drives business. Merchandise for the holidays. Is your store full? Is it clean? Are the best gifts and holidays prominently displayed? Pre-wrap your best sellers. Have them available online. Hot spots versus dead spots. Is signage effective? Traffic flow. Listen, one of the couple good things for fourth quarter and the holiday season. Two things that I've done as a store owner. Gift lists. Gifts under $10. Gifts under $25. Gifts under $50. Gifts under $1,000. Whatever it needs to be. But having a gift list that you can hand customers as they come through of your hottest products, your highest margin products at different price points is incredibly successful. Also, put a poster in your store on an easel that says this is Santa's gift list or a gift list. You may not want to say it's a Santa's gift list because you might want to be catering to all the holidays during the gift giving season. But note gifts that are popular in your store at different price points. And 40% of what you sell during the fourth quarter is a result of it being in your window. So know that. The other thing that works incredibly well is to pre-wrap some of your best-selling items. So take an item that you know sells well based on history, or you know your rate of sale is high, so it's going to sell well. Pre-wrap it and create a pyramid of those products pre-wrapped, and then have one unwrapped in front of it and talk about the product and how popular it's been, and people, guys particularly, dudes love it. They'll pick up a half dozen of them. Oh, these will be my product, my stocking stuffers for the year. Oh, I'm going to give these to everybody. So pre-wrapped products works really well. And then, know your traffic flow, know what real estate in your store is most effective, and put your highest margin products in those spaces. We know these tips. If they stay longer, they'll spend more. I know this, 70% of the shopping is done after 5 p.m. One of my biggest things I try to convince towns of as I travel is, 11 to 7 is way more productive than 10 to 5. It's not more hours, but you're open the hours people can shop with you that work 10 to 5 jobs. So know that 11 to 7 is way more efficient and successful than 10 to 5. Keep your lights on till 10. Whether you're open or not, keep your store lights on. Open door, get 10 times the traffic a closed store does. Windows in front and center, 40% of your business. Target zone on your shelves from your belt buckle to 6 inches above your head. And put your website URL in your window. www. And put your URL on your window. So in case people see your store after you're closed, they can still be on your website in front of your store. How cool is that? Handmade products, they require a drop tag, and you ought to tell about the artist and what the product's made of and where it was made and what makes it significance. Gift giving equals gift wrapping. Gift giving for me. The best question during fourth quarter is, how about one for yourself? People that buy gifts typically buy things they'd like to own themselves. So why not ask, how about one for yourself? And then online marketplaces, Etsy, Amazon Handmade, there are places and platforms where you can put products that were handmade online and still get credit for the sales. So know that. Here's Paco Underhill wrote a book called Why We Buy. And Paco Underhill, it's a book you ought to look at. But here's how he says the average American will go through a store. 9 out of 10 Americans turn right and travel counterclockwise. As a result, here's the value of the real estate of your store. The most productive real estate in your store is the front fixture on the right. And these percentages represent the number of people that come through the front door that get to this location in your store. And you can see how productive the front fixtures are, the middle one in the back, but the most popular fixture is the first one on the right. Know that there's people shopping online. And the biggest problem with online is abandoned shopping carts. So the best platforms give you the ability to email a customer that's abandoned a cart with product in it. The other thing is a live chat and Zoom. I've already covered this with you. Incredibly important. Market your brand, not just your product. So make sure that your customers have the ability to, Make sure your customer, I can't get it to back up. So let's go right here. Retain your customers. What are you going to do with all these people that have been shopping with you over the fourth quarter? I want you to be able to capture their email address. Email is still incredibly important. Ask them if they would prefer to be a loyal customer in your loyalty program, and ask them if they prefer to shop by appointment going forward. And another way to secure your customers as loyal customers is to write them a thank you note and thank them for shopping with you. So particularly with online purchases, you may want to send them a thank you note in their box. The other thing you always should put in the box when you're shipping to a customer is a be back coupon, a promotion for the future, something that incentivizes them to shop with you again in the next couple weeks. Cross promote within the town. Cross promote with your colleagues. Do things together. Point out restaurants. Point out other retailers. Do combo events. Do cross promotions with other retailers in town. Be a cooperator. And then dress up your windows. Your windows are incredibly important during the holidays, and curb appeal is incredibly important. So make sure your windows are clean, lights on till 10, unified with a focal point, less is more. Draw and sketch your display first, and use window paintings in place of freestanding windows, freestanding displays. What I mean by that is when most of the customers see your windows from a car, A passing car, the windows need to be simpler, bigger, and more plain because they only have 3 to 5 seconds to see what's in your window. Think of fun things to do. Have contests. Remember, is your windows being seen from a car or a sidewalk? Big graphics versus small, intricate things. The outside of your business tells your customers several things. Will it be safe and clean to shop in? What does your business look? Is it prepared for COVID? Does your business have pride? Do you have financial stability? Are you committed to the category that you're in? Is it a business of the future? Will it be worth returning to? We've had so much to cover in this short time, but let me recap. Here are the 7 strategies. Create a strategy. Focus on customer service. Personalize the experience. Educate and engage your community. Merchandise for the holidays. Market your brand. Dress up your windows. Embrace the online experience that works for you and your customers. Woo!